Well, hello, hello, hello. Hope you can hear me well. I am the creator of Shuffle Up Deck. My name is Latoya, and I am the creator and owner of Shuffle World Tarot. What we will be doing today, pretty much going over the first half of the Major Arcana. So in the Major Arcana, we're going to do the first 11 cards, basically the Fool all the way to the Wheel, and then I'll do another video to do the remainder 11 cards, just in case. I figure this will be long, because the majors, to me, you want to take more time in explaining the majors, and that's because the majors have to do, basically they're majors. They're major events: childbirth, death, spirituality, male and female figures also. I mean, they can even represent partnerships, endings, starts, world events, major milestones, things like that. I mean, even spiritual awakenings. So because they hit major milestones that can drive around the court cards, which are your minors, which are your wand suits, your cups, your swords, and your pentacles. So those are more kind of like they might hit little events, details, things like that, conflict and whatnot. But your major cards in the Arcana are pretty much kind of like your big solid cards. All right, so the way that I'm going to do this is I'll go ahead and I'll go through the card. I'll tell you the energy, the elemental energy, which can be air, earth, fire, air, earth, fire, and water. And then if it's connected to a crown chakra, I'll let you know. If it's connected to a planet, I'll also let you know. I just won't do it all in one, because then that'll drag out the video, but I might do it at the end. Okay? So we'll go ahead and start. So we'll start out with the Fool. The Fool will always start off at 0. So basically in tarot, we're going to start out with the Fool, and the Fool basically takes you through the journey out. We all play a Fool. We all take a journey. We all take a leap of faith in this life. That's how we get through life. That's how we do it every day. That's how we take chances. This is how we learn. This is how we grow. And pretty much how we basically make it through our life until we reach the end. So with the Fool, it is an air energy. It is ruled by Uranus, and it is related to the crown chakra. Like I said, the Fool starts at 0. So it's taking a leap of faith, moving forward blindly, and just taking things as they come. They can be a sign of innocence, being naive, impulsive. Can also represent journeys to self-discoveries. All right. So, and in the reverse, I'll put this set down here. So I'll sit it like this here on the side. In the reverse, the Fool can represent false starts, weight, holding back, carelessness, being unprepared, hesitancy, apprehension, immaturity. When it comes to the Fool card, it will give you action to pay attention as to what you're being curious about, what you want to be curious of, addressing fears, and letting go of expectations. Okay. So that is this one for the Fool. And for the Fool in the upright and in the reverse. Here is the Magician. The Magician is your air energy. It is ruled by Mercury. This is also your throat chakra. The Magician is a symbol of great power. Having all the tools you need to manifest. You see how he's holding up this potion in his hand with all the elements around him, and he's pretty much kind of having the golden ticket, having the right potion that's there, that's going to stand, that's going to make everything go with that infinity sign. Like he's pretty much got it, kind of like a sense of eureka. So he's holding it up because he's finally got what he's need to make the progress that he wants in order to make things happen the way that he or she wants to go in that direction. So with the Magician, like I said, it's a symbol of great power, skill, having all the tools to manifest. Also sign of divination too. Practice, creativity, resourcefulness. In the reverse, the Magician is a sign of block channeling, delays, manipulation, needing to take your power back is what you would need to do in this situation. And it calls for discipline. Also, in the Magician in reverse, it's also an energy of being scattered because you're not prepared. You don't have everything that you need in order to manifest what it is that you want. You don't have all your tools. You're not ready to push through, and you have to, get back to keep on working more to what it is that you want to do, so that way you can make it to the next level, being in the upright, and being able to manifest to get what you need. With this Magician, also in the reverse, like I said, missing tools, being distracted, creating illusions, or being a trickster. Also, not having any direction. With the Magician card, you're wanting to know your power, remembering your purpose, and also learning to simplify your approach. Here we have the High Priestess. High Priestess, she is pretty much ruled by the moon. She is of water energy. Water, remember, that is your Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio signs. It is also your third eye chakra. Third eye here, where she's got that triple moon goddess up here. And your third eye is not in between your eyes. It's actually kind of like in the middle of your forehead, just above it. Some people don't know that. With this High Priestess, it's a person who's very spiritual, highly intuitive, person of great wisdom, perceptive, even psychic, has heavy foresight, and can also be a symbol of fertility. In the reverse, the High Priestess, she can be spiritually disconnected. He or she. It's just an energy. Intuition, being off, closed off, or lifeless, calling to get more grounding back to what guides you spiritually. Also in reverse, it could be ignoring your intuition. Not just being connected to anything at all, just kind of like dull and lostness. Also, being superficial. What I love about this High Priestess card, I blended the hell out of that scroll. The camera doesn't do it any justice, but for anyone who's watching the videos and they already have the deck and you can pull out the Priestess, you'll see how lovely she looks. This scroll blended in, this 7-day candle, that moon in the back. It's a really beautiful card with this one here. Also, when I look at this, it's like a person who is of wisdom and knowledge. She'll keep your secrets, and of course, if she's in the reverse, she's, she won't keep your secrets. She'll tell it all. But also a person who can be studious, when I see this also, now that I'm even looking more at this too, looking at this High Priestess. She might not say too much. And she might be holding things in. But she's always going to give you the advice that you need, the guidance that you need that will really help you. When I look at this High Priestess, and that's just me freelancing. I love this card. I felt a little heartfelt there. Good googly moogly. Here we have the Empress. The Empress is ruled by Venus. She's Earth sign. Earth sign is, you know, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Rules your sacral chakra, sacral groin area. She's basically the Queens in all one. She is your Queen of Swords, your Queen of Wands, your Queen of Cups, your Queen of Pentacles. She's all in one. She is like Mother Earth, Mother Nature. She is the womb. She's basically kind of, you know, where you grow. She's abundant. And she's everything. So with this Empress, she can also represent fertility with that birdie there. Kind of like a little bun in the oven ordeal. Represents abundance, where things can start from in our gut, in our wombs, where we give life to. Also, like I said, Mother Earth, beauty. People will also refer to this card as divine feminine energy. In the reverse, she does represent dissatisfaction, overprotection, needing to focus on self-care, because she can be neglectful, not take care of things the way that she needs to, whether it's herself, others, and hell, even carrying what's in her womb, you know, not taking care of herself with that, you know, putting that in jeopardy. Again, back to the reverse, blocks, suppressed feelings, having to hold things in as well. She can be codependent, stagnant. She can also represent scarcity, which is basically the opposite of abundance, of course. I already told you, neglectful. She can also be smothering. So with this Empress will always let us know that we need to do self-care in order for us to be creative, abundant, handle our business, reconnecting with nature, getting out and things like that. Those are all ways that we take care of ourselves. So when she's in the upright, she's doing that. When she's in the reverse, she's doing the opposite. But basically also, you know, believing in yourself and making things be in an order so that you can also thrive. Because if she's abundant, she's thriving as well. All right, so this is the Empress. There's a lot. You know, these majors, they, as I go through them, and even when I sat through them to try to put them together, it's like they're deep. I feel like they're deeper than the minors, you know. So that's why I wanted to take my time with these. I wanted to give them more love. I wanted to give more meditation, even though I'm like, you know, like about 3 months overdue, 2.5 months overdue to do them. Sorry, guys, but I'm here. I'm doing it. I'm ready. I'm in good spirits to do it. And I knew that this was gonna be a lengthy video, and that's why I wanted to break it up in two. And that way I wanted to give it my love. I wanted to give it my time and the energy that it deserves to get, because it is a thick, heavy, deep set to go through. Okay. Just my interpretation. Some people put it in a book and then just say, hey, okay, well, this is the card, go read it. Like I said, I didn't want to do that when I did this deck, and I wanted to do the videos and just, here's the information, here's what it represents, and it's firsthand, and it's not just someone telling you to go and read a book. So the deck does come with a reference guide, and it has the picture, has the energies, it's got the planets linked to them, and it's very simplified. It's not a lot of fluff. It's not a gazillion pages long. Not at all. Nothing that you have to flip through crazily. And it's pamphlet style. I think it's maybe like about 8 pages. Refers you to the videos if you want. It doesn't have the Etsy shop, because I also do have an Etsy shop with some of these things that you see back here. But actually, most of these things, they actually come in the mystery boxes. And the mystery boxes, they're like 22, 33, and 44, somewhere around there with the mystery boxes. So my Etsy is Shuffle World Tarot as well, if you ever want to go in there and just to go and check it out. It's there. But I have this mostly here for decoration and just kind of energy purposes and stuff. And it looks pretty. I try to do something on these videos in the background, so it's not ho-hum and boring. Alright, so let's hit it. This, my dear, is the Emperor. He is ruled by Mars. He's basically coined as Aries, the sign of Aries, which is your fire sign. Also ruled by the root chakra. Takes on the root chakra. He is the king of all kings. He represents stable order, structure, great power. He's also referred to as divine masculine, because he is all kings in one, like the Empress. He is the king of wands, king of pentacles, king of swords, and the king of cups, if I didn't say that already. King of wands, king of pentacles, and king of swords all together. Like the Empress, this is the Emperor. He's all kings in one. Okay. So basically like the big kahuna. He's normally a father figure and a man of authority, like I said earlier. He basically plays chess, not checkers. So what I also did too, to kind of, show that he was more of a mature man, even though he kind of looks like a little young thing here. So I made his arms a little hairy on the forearms as well. And he is holding a ball, kind of like a crystal ball underneath these hands, and he is holding a large cross underneath these arms. But when you have the card in front of you, you can tell he also has a little bit of gut lines here too. Kind of a little bit of weight, just to kind of also show a little bit of maturity there, and also the lines going across the forehead. And if you have the card in front of you, if you can't see it too well on the video, the shades, they have the sign of Aries on both lenses. So he's a pretty cool guy. With this Emperor here in the reverse, Lord have mercy. In the reverse, it means you need to regain control, reestablish order in times of chaos. He can be abusive, misuse his position and authority. He can even be a dirty cop, just as an example, a dirty politician or anything like that, corruption. But he can also be way too loose. And in that sense too, to where it does cause chaos and you still need to reestablish order. So with this Emperor in reverse, can also represent tyranny, being callous, an a-hole. Also entitled, okay? Entitled. Avoidant, or staying ho-hum to keep the peace even when you're fed up. So, in that sense, it doesn't always have to be referring to oh, it's just the male that is this way. It's also an energy of that when it's in the reverse. When it comes to being, feeling entitled, being callous, rude, tyrannical behaviors, being avoidant as well, like I said. Okay, with this Emperor, it does give us the message to get disciplined, create structures, and put in the work. All right, that's your Emperor. Yeah, I'm feeling really heavy with these. All right, so the next one up, we're actually halfway through, y'all. This here, she's very pretty. Like I said, the camera doesn't do it all that much of justice. These cameras are these cameras, Lord have mercy. These cards are very bright. So, with this Hierophant, what I did with her is I put her third eye on her forehead. She's got her eyes closed, her lips, top one is like a yellow, bottom is green. She is holding this multicolored candle here, and of course her hair, it's kind of like different colored dreads. I love how I did her hair. It just kind of gives you like a spiritual aura when you're looking at this. It's all inclusive. It is, she has no complexion. She can be whatever you want her to be. I didn't put, for the most part, most of these cards don't even have complexions on them. If you want to color a complexion on them, if you want to, you can. I try to make it that way where if people could do that if they wanted to, but essentially originally I didn't want to do that, the whole complexion thing. So, but it gives, without her having a complexion, there's not so much focus on the face, but it gives you a lot of focus on the colors. So with this card, being that it's the Hierophant and it's also a spiritual card, it's a lot to look at and a lot to take in when you're looking at this card. So with the Hierophant, she is ruled by Venus. She represents Taurian energy, Taurus, earth sign, and your throat chakra. The Hierophant is a studious person. She can be religious, very spiritual, into tradition, a role model, is a teacher to herself and others. She can also be a counselor, a person who practices ancestral beliefs, can also be rigid and stubborn, though. In the reverse, the Hierophant, she rejects tradition. She can be rebellious. She is original and can't be held down to conform. So when she's in the reverse, that means she doesn't want to follow the rules. She wants to kind of, be her own, make her own rules, and make her own life instead of being bound and restricted to what it is that she's expected to do, as a man, as a woman, how society sees it, or family, or anything else in those aspects where roles would need to be played accordingly, according to how we are normally raised to see them. That makes sense. So with this Hierophant in the reverse, it can also represent social pressures. Pretty much just what I broke down within the last couple of seconds. Okay. Also with this Hierophant, it calls for us to find a mentor, as another message in the card. A person with guidance and experience, maybe even a message to kind of give you a clue. Maybe you need to do something to expand your mind. Take a class, read a book, do something to switch up, where you can reconnect with yourself in another way that helps you do the inner work. Kind of like how she's got her eyes closed and she's holding this candle and she's just kind of being there and going within, and being a unit with herself and getting grounded. Another message that we can take from the Hierophant is higher learning, celebrating our individualities, instead of hiding behind traditions, and mental restrictions. Okay, so this is your Hierophant. Here you have the Lovers. I love this card. When you have the card in front of you from the deck, this gray is out friggin' standing. The way that I was able to blend this is amazing because it looks like gray denim. You can probably tell from here on this camera because I can tell. So hopefully it looks just about as decent on my side as I would think that it looks on your. I would think that it looks on your side, but it's like gray denim. It's really cute. And then it's kind of has that black and white offset card up there. Not the card, but the foot. All right, so let's hit it. So with this Lovers, it is ruled by Mercury. It is also the sign of Gemini. With the Lovers, 2 double, one side, the other side. It is air energy, and it also is connected to your heart chakra. You can't miss it, right, with all the hearts there. So your Lovers card from for the Major Arcana are your star-crossed lovers. They represent love, relationships, partnerships, major decisions in love, aligned choices that are harmonious in union. In the reverse, the Lovers can represent not being able to trust, breaking up, third-party situations, needing to make better choices. A call to repair relationships when things are just not working out. Also, imbalance, again, breaking up, separation, or incompatibility. Good googly moogly. With the Lovers card also in the opposite too. When I looked at this again today, and I'm looking at this Lovers card, it's like, we look at the Lovers card in the upright as a union. Union is normally 2 people. In the opposite, when it's separation, I mean, it's like 2 going to 1. Like being broken down a half, you know? And so I kind of thought of that too. Kind of like going like from a 2 to a 1. You're backtracking, like you're having to start over. Just when you thought you were going to be at 2, 3, 4, 5, now you're going from 2 to 1, and you're having to go back and retrace and see where you fell at, where you're having to restart at, having to reassess relationships, and maybe something it might not have to do with them. Maybe it's something that has to do with you, and that you need to do the shadow work. That you need to go within and see what it is that is going on. That you need to kind of work on. So that way you have healthier relationships, harmonious relationships, where you're still taking care of yourself, and not just taking care of others, you know, and not in a selfish way, in a healthy way. But when I look at it also in the reverse, and just that concept of going from 2 to 1, and kind of put my mind out there where I could see it that way. And more in depth on that. Alright, so that's just my opinion, baby. You know, I could be wrong, but I like it. It makes sense to me with this Lovers card, okay? Alright, so let's move on. Alright, so that's these. Yeah. Alrighty. So we are going to move on to the Chariot. All right. So the Chariot and the Rider-Waite, it is a man on the, I want to say he's like on like a chariot cart with a horse. So on this one, he is of course not like that because I drew it, but I did put him in a car. The Chariot is your Cancer sign. It is ruled by the moon. It is water sign energy, Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer, and your throat chakra. So with the Chariot, it is moving forward, getting out quickly, traveling, taking a drive, hence the car, evolving, fast changes. These lines on the outside of the card just representing movement. Even the horse in the back. That's another way that I did it back there so that you would know that this is the Chariot and not the King of Cups. So, also, fast changes, taking charge, being focused, getting the victory when you get there. It's like having momentum, being in the moment, steady, fast direction. All right. And also it's just that emotion because your Chariot is also the Cancer energy. Cancer is also ruled by the moon, of course, and it is water. It is part of your emotions, because with water is ebb and flow. It is waves, it's movement. It can be rough, it can be still, it can be choppy, but it does represent movement. All right, so in the reverse, the Chariot can resemble being lost, slowing down, giving up, having to backtrack. Also, no motivation, lack of focus, stalls in traveling plans even. You're getting ready to travel, you're getting ready to go on a trip, and all of a sudden something happens. Car breaks down, a car repair that needs to be done. You have to, switch, plans to go out of town from one day to another, or maybe you just can't go, depending on what the cards are, surrounding it in the reading, and, and the court cards, and, in that situation there that can kind of guide you to where in that particular reading, just in going in with the cards, and whether if it's something that you're going to stay stuck there for a while, or if it's something that's going to be quick, fast, in a hurry that you can fix, and then you'll be able to get going back on. Okay, so with the Chariot card also, it gives us a message to prioritize, to also hold ourselves accountable, reassess goals and methods, and even identify distractions, so that way we can get back on this path to where we were originally motivated to go to and make it there. All right, so this here is your Chariot. I kind of freelanced on that one, huh? Okay. All right, so we are going to move on to the Strength card. Actually, with the Strength card, this warm color around here is actually orange. It's very warm blood orange type of color, and some areas are darker than others, some are warmer than others in here, kind of like the gray as well, but more so that fire energy, that blood energy, that pumping, that passion, that fire signs, that fire energy does represent in the Strength. Also, with that being said, this card also represents Leo. The Strength card is also ruled by the sun. That's the planet. Not the planet, but I wouldn't say it's a planet. No, it's ruled by the sun because the sun is the sun. Fire energy, and it is also your solar plexus. With the Strength card, it calls for us to have self-control, be courageous, self-preservation. To me, my opinion, self-preservation. I don't care what nobody says about that. Because when you have strength, and you see how she's got these tears going down here from her eyes, and she's just kind of being to herself, kind of recluse, just kind of holding things in, and she's just kind of like on her last, but she's still got some some strength in her left. So, and she's pretty much stripped down, damn near naked. She's down to the underwear. And she's tired. She's absolutely exhausted with these wings back here that are off, and there's these kind of like the detachments or attachments from the wings to her back. And then you can see that she also has the patch here, the pattern, or the kind of like the where the wings connect with the back there. So it's kind of like, you know, she's taken off those wings. She's had a hard day. She's had a hard time. She's going through it, whatever that situation is, and she just needs time to just get away and give herself some time to just try to re-energize, recharge, refresh, and just take a moment to herself to try to get some kind of, you know, reprieve somewhere, you know, and just kind of hang those wings up for a little bit to try to regroup herself with this Strength card. That's a lot. When I made this card, I thought of my mom. My mom's a Leo. So when I made this card, it was a lot of thought. It was a lot of, you know, what the intention that I wanted to put into this card, what I wanted it to represent, what I wanted it to show. And I wouldn't change anything about this card. Absolutely not. When I made this deck, I drew it by hand, of course, obviously. And when I did this, I did it off of my own ideas, my own strength and everything, and I just didn't want to work with other people to tell me, oh, you shouldn't do that, or you should do this instead, and then just kind of stripe away my creativity in making this deck. And then this card turned out to be something else that I really don't feel anything behind it, card after card. And so, you know, I know some of these a lot of decks came out this year in 2021, people doing Kickstarters and stuff like that, and working with publishers where they're telling them, oh, well, cut this out and cut this out, and you should do it this way, and we'll make the changes. And then people being in these contracts where they can't be as creative as they want to, and then some of these decks are getting put out, and they're really not, you know, the creator loses the heart behind it. And that's what I found with a lot of decks, watching a lot of YouTube videos, reading articles, and doing research and things like that. And then sometimes you find their personal blogs, and then you read things and you're just like, wow. Anyways, I think one of these days I'll do a video about that and why I did my deck the way that I did, you know, some of the research that I did and how I wanted to, you know, started doing this. And I think one of these days I'll take the time to do that. I'll probably show my face too. Alright, so anyways, back to this card. That's a spiel. Here, back to self-preservation with the hanged wings, like she's taking a break. Reconnecting to yourself and even God, divine source, self-compassion, taming passion as well. In the reverse, it's feeling disconnected, feeling weak and torn, powerless, self-doubt, insecurity, vulnerability, feeling like you'll just be subject to showing your weakness, because with the Leos in this fire energy and it being passion energy, normally you want to show victory and ego and strength and pride on the outside, even if you're falling apart on the inside. With this. So, but when she's in the reverse, that's exactly what she represents. looks good on the outside, shitty, hurt, sad, embarrassment, shame, whatever on the inside. Kind of like being a beard. So that's what I think of that also too, you know. Remembering that strength is the fire in the lion. You know, being proud. Regal, strong in the outward appearance and having imbalances and self-destructive behaviors. Self-destructive behaviors underneath. That's a mouthful. Whew. In the reverse, of course. I don't even put her in the reverse, but that's what that is, baby. When we're looking at this strength card, because I'm going to wrap it up. I did go on a tangent with this one because I started, you know, saying how it, you know, reminded me of my mom and things like that. Not that that's a bad thing. She's grown a lot. But the strength card also gives us messages to look at our emotions and to put them into action. You know, correcting ourselves so changes can be made for ourselves, and they can also affect other people too. To help examine what holds us back and even find the sources of weak foundations, whether it's ourself, the way we were raised, the people we work with, the people we associate ourselves with, that contribute to our behaviors, the things that we go through, the things that we want to change, and things like that, in order for us to be better people in the world, better people for our kids, our families, and most of all to ourselves. That's for damn sure. All right. This is a strength card. Woof. All right. Here we are. This is the Hermit. Okay. We got one more card to go, y'all. And we are at 42 minutes and 37 seconds. All right. So, this is the Hermit card. So with this Hermit card, it is ruled by Chiron. It is Virgo sign, earth energy, which is Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. It is also your third eye. With this Hermit card, it is being introspective, going within, drawing back, making time to be alone in order to reflect and seek guidance. Seek guidance, whether it's yourself or with a mentor, someone you can trust, someone who gives good advice, and not advice from somebody who, you know, doesn't live the best life. Not super successful or constantly, you know, not having success, or a person who has a lot of strife, always getting hit in the head over, you know, stupidity that they put themselves in, you know, to satisfy things in the moment. That's not what we want. That's not the kind of guidance that we want to go to. You know, that's like being single, but you're going to married people for advice, or being married and going to single people for advice with your relationship, and they never been married before, or they've never had a successful marriage and things like that. I'm just giving you a little example, okay? But the Hermit also represents healing, soul searching, being solo dolo. There's nobody out there. Solo dolo, into the dark with a light lamp, and just out here and being. What I also did too is I put a mask on her. Kind of just throwing out there the sign of the times when the deck came out. There's a little tidbit right there. She got a little mask. When they had us out here in masks, wearing masks outside in this air. But I digress, okay? I want the video to stay up, okay? So, but needing to reassess, seeking to reconnect spiritually, as well. And the reverse, the Hermit is like coming out of hibernation. Coming out of the darkness. Being seen by people. Going back and being social again too. You want to take it there. But with the Hermit in reverse, it's like you've gotten your emotions in check and you're, getting your grounding together. The end of withdrawal. Or it can also be feeling lonely, like very heavy, super depressive type of energy as well. Feeling lost and extreme isolation. I say when it comes to that, I think it just depends on the surrounding cards with it too. That'll give you a time as to whether it's, can be 3 days, 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 years, just depending on the cards, because the cards also represent time as well. I just haven't done it in the cards because I'm going through the deck in general with the cards. But some of the cards also do represent time. Okay? That's why these numbers are up here. So, that is pretty much this with the Hermit. What I'll also say about the Hermit card is it gives us messages to where we need to clear our mind and reconnect to the world, be more welcoming to people as well. When it's in the reverse, baby, we're coming out, okay? We're coming out of this darkness, this isolation, this depression, this effishness, okay? And we're getting out. We're coming out of the dark. Be seen by people. Getting back to being social again. And things like that. What I will say also too about this Hermit, maybe even getting another opinion when you're seeking advice or guidance from others, so that way you can get another perspective or another way of looking at things. And confronting discomforts by trying to understand where they may come from and how to deal with them or eliminate them as well. Okay? So that's your Hermit. We're on the last one. I'll text you back, girl. You just have to wait. Alright. So we are at the wheel. This wheel, if you have it in front of you, it's like a golden green kind of color. It probably looks more so green on here. Maybe a little goldish. But you know that you're holding it in the right direction, because the elements are up here. And that is water, air, earth, fire. These are the alchemic symbols of the elements. Okay? And so they are in that color, in that order. You see these signs and symbols here. And also too, not trying to be funny, but this star can also represent you in this wheel, if you really want to think about it. Because the wheel, all right, let me go on ahead and freelance on this thing. The wheel, it represents cycles. And when we're doing a reading, even if we pull cards on ourselves, and we are this star right here in the middle, baby, okay? This is our world, This is what we got going on. All these elements, all these energies of different people from different walks of life, different signs, all around us in this life. And here we are, being this star right in the middle. Like a squirrel just trying to get a nut. We are an ant in an ant farm. Or we're like an ant on Earth. And so we have all these things surrounding us when it comes to this wheel. And the wheel, one thing about a wheel, it always turns, just like a table. And one thing that we do know about tables, they always do turn, right? And the wheel works the same way. So when I look at this, I think of the star being us. If you're reading for another person, can be that person also. And knowing that it turns, knowing that it represents a cycle. When it's in the upright, we're moving past it. When it's in the reverse, we're stuck. Something's going on and we're stuck. All right? But we're in the middle. In the middle, ending the cycle when it's in the upright. In the reverse, upside down, we stuck. Okay? So we'll hit this last one. So with this wheel, it definitely means cycles. It can be karma, karmic cycles, riding the waves, life, divine timing, God stepping in. Okay? Divine timing. Like I said, the alchemy symbols and signs, also being basically a sign of the universe, universal law at work, destiny even. In the reverse, the wheel represents resistance, needing to realign with yourself too, needing to overcome setbacks as well. I did forget to say that with the wheel, it is ruled by Jupiter. And it is fire energy, and it is also linked to the solar plexus. So, also with this wheel in reverse, repetition, kind of like similar to what I said earlier, where you're stuck. But it can also be repetition, because when it's in the upright, you're coming out a cycle, you're closing out a cycle. When it's in the reverse, it's like having delays, setbacks, not being able to complete this, repetition, something calling you back, that's trying to keep you there when you need to be coming out of that. You need to be making the moves to come out of it. External circumstances, going around and round and round. So it is a wheel. And also like being in the center of the things that push us to resist change and progression. So like I said, being this star in the middle, and then it's in the reverse and having all these things around us that are external, that are keeping us in the same pattern, same cycles, when we need to be growing, we need to be changing, we need to be moving forward, we need to be progressing in all of these things. Okay? So, oddly enough, yeah, that star being there in the middle, when I looked at this again today, and it just made me think of that. And even the star card too. The star can resemble a person, because it's focusing on an energy and focusing on a person. And so, well, this is not the star card and this is the wheel, but you have the star in the middle, and it's kind of like you being the star in the middle. That's deep, huh? Well. All right. So these are the first 11 cards. We are at 54 minutes. And so we will have another segment of doing the other 11 cards. And then maybe I'll freelance on that one at the end, to kind of just wrap up what the energies represent and things like that. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me just go ahead and do it now. I'll do it now. So, when it comes to the planets and the cards, the signs, the energies, and things like that, I'm going to run through the planets linked to the cards that I pulled for the first 11 on this one. And it's not many. It's maybe like 6 or 7 of them, okay? So, one of them is Jupiter. Jupiter represents expansion. And it calls for us to have optimism, luck, travel, positivity, people outside of our cultures, teaching, learning, taking chances, taking a leap of faith, and just creating more potential in that. So it's like a manifesting energy when it comes to Jupiter expansion. We did have Chiron out here with, I think, only one of the signs. I want to say it was, I think, the Hermit. So, Chiron represents healing. So it is growth, amending, releasing, personal development, growth, inherited issues, addressing self-doubt, generational trauma, shame, needing to have forgiveness, divinity, cleansing, softness. It's healing energy. So when I also think of these things, I think it's shadow work, going inside of ourselves, working on ourselves, so we have that growth, we have that development in ourselves, to take us where we need to go and progress and be a better person to ourselves, our family, kids, everything, all of that around that. Hell, even be a better pet owner, whatever. You might be a cat lady, you might be a cat man. Another one that we had out here was the sun. I want to say one of the cards that was linked to the sun was Leo, at least Leo. And with the sun, it's being. The sun, when we go outside, the sun is there. The sun, it don't move, it don't shake, it don't shift. The sun is there. Even when it rains, the sun is there. In the morning, the sun is there. Afternoon, the sun is there. It is being. It is existing. Okay? So with the sun, it is essence, it is energy, it is self-awareness, spirit, masculinity, because it is also a fire sign. So that's when I think of Leo. I think of lion. I think of masculinity. The sun is also brightness. It is radiance, youthful, maybe even childishness, kid energy, ego, expression, self-sufficiency, heartbeat, maybe even passion, because it is energy. It gets your blood pumping. It's fire, so the sun is hot when I think of that. Okay. Another one we had out here, for two signs, I want to say, for the Lover's card, which is Gemini, I think the Fool also had Mercury in the card. Okay, so with Mercury is communication, mercurial energy, and so it is our words, thoughts. It is analyzing. It is information. It's wisdom and knowledge. It is truth telling. It is vision, intelligence, trading, being perceptive, curiosity, kind of like that Fool card, having taken a leap of faith, having a blindfold on, but taking a chance and seeing where that chance takes them. But also, making the narrative, being a muse, not amused, but muse, M-U-S-E, muse, and wondering, which kind of takes you back to the Fool card too. That leap of faith, wandering off on that. Okay, So that is your Mercury energy. Another one was Venus. And when we think of Venus, we think of love, we think of beauty. But Venus rules sex. Okay. So, but they like it, they dress it in love. But it is also sex, too. Um, but it also can give us the energy of harmony, romance, um, receiving, sensuality, luxury, lush, like cashmere, like wealth, um, being diplomatic, because the Venus is also can be like Earth energy too. Um, but being a magnet, having value, um, the pleasure, like I said, ruled by sex, um, adoration, attraction, indulgence, even having taste, having style, um, beauty for ourselves, beauty for others. It is nurturing ourselves. It is also self care when I think of Venus, too. Um, we have three more to go, and I'm going to hit them real quick. Mars, which Mars is also your fire energy. It is energy of action, um, outward appearances, a lot of red, a lot of gold, warm colors, desire, impulses, courage, heat, force, strength, competition, excitement, impatience, anger like red, leadership like gold, um, being potent, having a lot of willpower, um, motor like an engine, because it's a lot of action, um, and sex drive too, we also have Uranus, which Uranus is like revolution. It is breakthroughs. It is originality. It is getting away from tradition. It is waking up. It can be innovation, um, humanitarianism, things going on in the world where we're having to do reforms, stating our freedom. We are experimenting things that are unexpected, whether they have, however they happen in our world, where we live, in our schools, and our lives, where we work, in our families, and things like that. Um, Rupture, chaos, corruption, um, diversity, things that are lightning fast, that are things where you have to break through. You have breakthroughs, brainstorm, and where you have more insight. You're getting more intel. You're getting more intelligence in finding out what a root cause issue can be and what we can do to improve it, so that way there's less chaos and things like that. So it's kind of like a worldly energy too. If it's not all just home based, but also our world, our society, no matter where it is, whether it's United States, United Kingdom, out in Australia, Germany, China, Japan, um, Russia, Africa, wherever. All right. And then the moon. The moon from the majors. I want to say the moon is Cancer, kind of like the Chariot card. I believe that's ruled by that. And I want to say the High Priestess is also ruled by the moon, not the Hierophant, because the Hierophant is Earth. Um, so yeah, I want to say the Chariot, and I want to say the High Priestess is ruled by the moon. And with those two, those are water sign energies. But with the moon, we think of ebb and flow. We think of riding the waves, choppy waters, our instincts, our reactions, our emotions, nurturing, our habits, home, family, things that are private to us, um, sustenance, our moods, things that are self soothing, um, kind of like a mother energy as well. And things that are comfortable for us. And the moon is like our feelings, our gut, our digestive area, in that end. So these are the planets that are linked to the energies on the cards that we did on the first 11. And this is pretty much it for the first segment of the major arcanas. So I hope I did it right. I hope I did it well. Hope you're happy with it. If not, there's plenty of videos on YouTube that will give you a breakdown in another format, another way. Everyone learns differently. So when I did this, I had the cards. I did the card reference for people who are into more so of reading. And then I have the videos for people who are better with auditory and visual learning, and even doing it hands-on if you've got the deck. And if you don't have the deck, which you don't have to buy the deck or whatever, but the deck is available on Etsy under Shuffle World Tarot. And so the deck is $36. It is free shipping, and with every purchase, I'll give you an add-on, something there. I might have some sage or some Palo Santo or something to send you with good energy, and the gratitude, and sending you love along with the purchase and the appreciation for supporting the deck. So but with that being said, this is the first segment. Hope you liked it. Very long, but we got through it. Hope it's very informational. Everyone learns a different way. So if my style is not the best style that you might like, there's plenty other YouTubers out here that may or may not be doing it this way. I don't know. I'm in my own lane when I'm doing this. This is my baby right here. And so I'm giving you what I got with my baby. All right. So lots of love. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Most definitely appreciate it. If you have any questions or a comment about anything, leave it. I do have the comments off for the most part, and that's because there's a lot of scammy ass people out here and stuff like that, and I'm not into that crap. I want to give you the information, want to give you what you're looking for, want to give you the love and the dedication that I think you deserve when you're learning the cards, especially when you're buying the deck. And so that's how I feel about that. Nobody's going to change it. I'm just doing it my way. Okay. So lots of love. Until then, we'll do the next 11. All right. Thanks.